All right, Peter Shankman, welcome. We're so excited. We're going to have you at the Digital Life Insurance Agent Mastermind. Wanted to have our attendees kind of get to know you a little bit, kind of what you're going to be talking about. But first of all, I just want to ask, who is Peter Shankman? I know you as this guy I split a cab with in Bangkok 8 years ago, right? who's a wacky social media personality, PR expert, and entrepreneurial leader, right? But for those being introduced to you for the first time at this event, how would you describe yourself and what you do?
Well, first of all, I should say it always pays to share the cab. But who am I? I was not supposed to be doing any of this. I was in graduate school for fashion and portrait photography. With 18 credits left, I lost my financial aid. The government sent me a letter that said your parents make too much money. I sent the government back a letter that said they do, but they keep it. And the government didn't find that funny. So I wound up moving back to New York, and in random twists of fate, hanging out in a chat room on America Online, wound up moving down to Virginia to become one of the founding editors of the newsroom at AOL, and cut my teeth in social and in on the internet at America Online back when AOL was the internet. Started a public relations firm during the dot-com boom, sold that a couple of years later, consulted for several years. Eventually, because I have massive ADHD, which means I talk to everybody, I had quite the Rolodex, and I wound up being able to connect journalists with sources through something I created called Help a Reporter Out, or HARO. And HARO changed how journalists and sources found each other. And that was acquired by PR Newswire about 3 years after I started it. Since then, I've been a corporate keynote speaker all over the world on customer experience. I've written several books on customer experience and customer service. I have the #1 podcast on neurodiversity called Faster Than Normal, which focuses on ADD, ADHD, autism, spectrum, anything like that, executive function, and why about 25% of the workforce and 25% of the people you're selling to are some sort of neurodiverse, and how do you sell to them, how do you hire them, things like that. Finally, I'm a born and raised New York City kid, living currently still in Manhattan with as a single dad to an 8-year-old daughter and a 7-month-old dog, the latter of which is currently at my feet, and the former, which is, thank God, back in school.
Awesome. So, I know a lot of digital life insurance agents, getting their websites out and kind of making a name for themselves. You actually use Help a Reporter Out. They still use that to this day. It's still going strong.
Yeah, it makes me feel really good when I hear that people still use it. It was one of those things I'm like, this can make a lot of people, this can help a lot of people. And when I hear that, I started in 2007, 14 years after I started, it's still going strong and people are still using it. It makes me really happy.
Yeah, it's incredible. And so, I mean, now you're closing out the first day of the Digital Life Insurance Agent Mastermind. Mastermind being the key word here, right? So we'll have over 180 agents spending their hard-earned commission dollars, right, and time away from their family to come and learn with other like-minded agents on ways to improve their business. Now, I know for me, attending, the 2011 and 2012 DC conference that you and I were at, I'm actually wearing that T-shirt from 2012 from Bangkok. That changed the course of my business and my life, just attending those two things. It wasn't just the cutting edge ideas. It was, it finally felt like I belonged, right? Yeah. And I was around people that understood everything I was experiencing, and it gave me the confidence to move forward in business, right? Now, pre-COVID, you were running small masterminds in different cities across the nation. I'd love to get your take on the power of a mastermind.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still running them. They're virtual now, and I have one coming up on April 29th. Actually, it's going to be we have Darude, the guy who the guy who wrote the song Sandstorm is our opening keynote. We have the beauty of a mastermind is very simple. It allows two things. Number one, as an entrepreneur, as small business owners, as people who don't necessarily have bosses or who don't necessarily have people who will, pardon my French, call them out on their shit, right? A mastermind allows you to have those types of people in your life. And let's face it, everyone needs someone in their life who's willing to call them out, who's willing to say, hey, you know what? I think you're cheating on this. I think you're stalling on this. I don't think you're giving this your all. Is it because you don't love it? If it's because you don't love it, let's figure out a better way to do it so you do love it. We as small business owners, as entrepreneurs, as single focused shops, we tend to get into ruts where if something's working, well, we don't really feel the need to have to push it forward. It's working. Let's just leave it at that, right? The problem with that is that leads to stagnation. Stagnation leads to failure, right? Why should I have to? Yeah, I'm making X amount of money per year. It's renewing. Why should I have to continue? Well, because at some point something's going to happen. COVID, for instance, where everything is going to change, right? So when that happens, you need to be prepared for it. And one of the best ways to be prepared is to have a group of like-minded people who are willing to listen and call you out and say, hey, you know what? That's great that you're doing this. What about if you pursue this, this, and this? How can that make things better? And so the key there is to really understand that a mastermind is full of people who not only are willing to call you out, but also are looking at these same ideas that you're looking at the things that you're doing with different eyes. Right? If you see the same, I see the same view outside my window. I live on the 56th floor here in Midtown Manhattan. I see the same view every day. And when I stop and actually take a look, oh wow, that new building is going up. Holy crap, that's huge. When did that get, we're sitting there, when did that go up? It's a one square block building. When did it go up? It's gone up over the past year. I haven't not seen it. I just haven't noticed it. Because I see the same view every day. So having a bunch of people out there who can tell you that there's a difference and tell you, hey, what about trying it this way, can be invaluable to you.
100%, 100%. I love that, and I love that you're doing this for other entrepreneurs out there, because it really does take, sometimes a push off the fence and being around people to call you out and to point out something that maybe you're doing. I don't want to say you're doing wrong, but something you could be doing better. And that's just the lift you need to push forward.
Well, it's funny. I'm dating a woman right now. My girlfriend is also an entrepreneur, and she works in high end travel. She promotes really high level resorts or communities, or she has one of her clients is the largest safari in South Africa, right? So, or in Africa. So they'll host events. She does it. And when COVID was hitting, she's like, oh my God, my business it's going to hell. I'm like, well, what about if we tried A, B, and C, right? What if we were able to do this, this, and this? And she came back to me a week later. She's like, all right, so just, I've implemented 2 or 3 things already. They're already selling, already generating revenue. How the hell did I not see that? I'm like, well, you didn't see it because you're staring at it every day.
Yeah.
Right. And as long as we're on this topic, tell me what I could do differently, right? And so having those different set of eyes that don't see the same things you see is just so incredibly important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So now real quick, and to kind of just close this quick conversation out, because I know you're going to be talking a lot at the Mastermind. Let's talk about what we can expect from your presentation at the Mastermind. We can already tell you're a storyteller, Peter. Your topic is called, let me read it here, the economy of the next 50 years will be run by the customer experienced. So what can we expect?
The majority of what we'll be talking about is the premise that I don't need you to be awesome. Right? I don't even need you to be great. If you think about where the bar is on customer service, where it's become, right? Back when we used to fly, I'm flying tomorrow for the first time in a while, and I'm excited because I still have my status. But for most people, they go on a plane. If they take off on time, land on time, have the seat they requested, and don't crash into a mountain, that's a win in their eyes, right? When in fact, what that really is just a flight. You signed a contract of carriage that said they'll take you to a certain place at a certain time, and give you a seat, and that's what they did, and they didn't do anything more than that. But you're over the moon because you weren't pulled over by the TSA. You had the seat you wanted. Your flight was on time. All the basics that should be basic that we should get all the time, we don't necessarily get. And so when people experience basic customer service, they're actually quite happy. If you can go just 1% better than that, you can win everything. So I don't need you to be awesome. I need you to suck slightly less than everyone else. And the bar really isn't that high to do that. It's not that hard to do that. So we're going to talk about sort of the top 4 ways to do that, along with a couple other things.
Awesome. Cool. Well, we look forward to seeing you in Austin, Peter. I can't wait for the attendees to hear your message. And we'll see you in a few weeks.
I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun to be back on stage.